What's going on, guys? Okay, Samurai Jack, episode 3 of season 5. Um, this was, wow, an action-packed episode. We literally start the episode off exactly where we ended last week. Jack fell into the river, bleeding out because he got stabbed in the gut after killing one of these 7 daughters of Aku, and he is seen flowing down the river, and he eventually passes out while attached to this log, and he ends up waking up in the middle of this forest. Like, I guess he just crash landed, not crash landed, but I guess he just landed up on this island, and he wakes up and he's still in so much pain and he's still bleeding from the wound. I guess all that, even though he was in all that water, it didn't help at all. And he's slowly just walking, trying to find shelter. And he's having visions of this man and the horse once again. This is obviously going to mean something huge later, but we're not entirely sure what yet. Jack ends up finding shelter in this cave kind of thing, and he ends up taking the knife sword thing that's inside of his gut, and he's slowly pulling it out. Like, the voice acting here is incredible, because it really sounds like he's going through the most gut-wrenching pain pulling this thing out. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny, but like literally right after he pulls it out, he passes out. So it probably was some intense pain. He ends up having another vision, like he did last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago. And it's some weird version of himself. He's got like some shark teeth, and he's really angularly tall. And they address the whole Jack killing a human. Even his, vision is saying, "We've never killed a human before, now have we? Now this is interesting." And he kind of tries to give them the notion of like, maybe you liked it or something, and he's just like, well, they're gonna come after you either way, and they're gonna kill you. Are you gonna let them do that, or are you gonna kill them? And Jack's like, well, I'm not gonna let that happen. So basically, the wolf that was paralleling Jack the other episode while he killed all those animals in the forest ends up finding Jack in this tunnel, and Jack actually ends up thinking that it's one of the daughters of Aku. It isn't, it's the wolf. And it's cool to see this scene because I love the whole how the wolf tries to care for Jack. Like, it's really cool, and I'll get into that a bit more later, but I just wanted to say that I think that's such a cool scene. But like I said, we'll get into that later. Jack ends up passing out, and we see a flashback scene. This is the first time in season 5 we're finally getting a flashback scene. And we see Jack's father there, and his mother, and Jack. They're all riding in this chariot because they're royalty. And people come by and they kill all of Jack's father's guards, and they demand that he comes out so that they can fight him and kill him. And his father comes out and he says, turn away now, walk away now, or accept your destiny. And they're like, we don't want to hear about that bull crap, we're here to kill you. And then freaking, what this scene reminds me of is, if anyone's ever seen Afro Samurai, he has a similar flashback. He has a similar flashback to his father, and about how his father was cornered by some thugs, and Afro's father ended up killing all of these people. And Jack's father did that here in this scene just to protect Jack and to protect his wife. It's a really touching scene. Jack ends up waking back up inside this cave. He ends up sewing his wound back together. And then he passes out yet again. But the wolf comes and brings him food, and they're sitting by a fire, and they keep sharing food with each other. It's a really cool scene. It's almost like the wolf is like really super smart, like thinking like a person. And then the wolf ends up passing out and going to sleep. Jack ends up trying to put some stuff that he believes will heal his wound, but the dog ends up going up to him and just licking his wound, licking it off, and then he goes over and licks his own wound because the dog is hurt as well. Jack ends up getting a bucket of water, trying to pour it on the dog. I guess, I don't know what he was trying to do there, I guess help the wound, but that pissed the dog off and started barking at him, and then he went back and started licking the wound. Anyways, a few moments later, the fire goes out. The dog is sleeping very comfortably because, of course, he's a dog and he's covered in fur. It's a really adorable scene. Just watching the dog just all cuddled up with himself, and Jack's over there like freezing his ass off. He's like, you know, and it's really cool because he passes out and he wakes up, and the dog went to him and saw he was cold and cuddled up with him, and then Jack sees that, and then Jack's like, oh, and then Jack lays down on his back and goes back to sleep. It's a really cool scene. But Jack ends up waking up, and now Jack is outside of his cave. The wolf ends up coming back out. They don't talk, of course, because obviously it's a wolf. Jack wouldn't really talk to him. Jack's wound is healed, and the wolf sees that his wound is healed. They have a little bit of a stare-off, just kind of being like, you know, we understand each other. We need to work together. But the wolf leaves him because his job is now done. He healed, or he helped heal Jack's wound so that Jack can now fight back against the tyranny that is the 7 Daughters of Aku. But as the wolf leaves, we transition back into Jack as a child, and blood had splattered all over Jack's face because of how his father killed all those people. And Jack's father explains that you know, you can't hide who you are, and you know, there's just things that you're gonna have to do. There's challenges you're gonna have to face, and there's, you know, only a select few ways that you're gonna be able to solve them. So it flashes back once again to Jack, and he stands up victoriously, ready to face the challenge that is the Daughters of Aku. We'll flash back over to the daughters as they drag their fellow sister out from the cave, who is dead, and they just leave her there. They just leave her there because to them she's no good. So now there are 6 sisters left. They are following the stream, noticing Jack's blood inside of the stream, and so they follow it all the way down to what looks like this weird forest that's covered in snow now. But it's cool because we get to see them. They see a deer, and then they see a muscular deer, and it's cool. It's a cool scene because with these kids, they don't really know that much. They were literally trained from birth to kill samurai. You know, they don't really have any formal education or anything. So they see this muscular deer, and they're like, oh, that must be, you know, one of Aku's minions. He must be going to kill that other deer, that other weaker one. And then the big deer ends up going to the other one, and it looks like that's his, you know, his mate. And they end up rubbing noses, and they're like, what is this? This, you know, I don't know what this is, but it's disgusting. And it's just funny. But they end up turning around, seeing one of Jack's handprints, blood prints on the tree stump. We've seen that from the trailers. And then they follow a small trail of blood that seems to stop. So then they know that Jack must be here, or at least somewhere nearby. So they all take out their weapons and they start running, hoping that they can find Jack. And now it starts snowing hardcore, and now we hear Jack. Jack is mocking them from somewhere up above, and he's just basically giving them the same, you know, thing that his father told his enemies. He's basically saying, this is your destiny, turn around now, or you will face your fate. And they're like, our fate is your death. And he's like, okay, well, then come at me. We get a really cool scene of literally the snow coming down so hard that all you can see is the whiteness of the snow. This is honestly one of the most beautiful scenes Samurai Jack has had, and I think the entire series, because we've had a lot of scenes like this before. If you remember from Season 4, Jack versus the Ninja, where we had that great parallel of white on black. This is kind of the same thing, but I think this scene does it well, because while that one was just lighting, this one is literally weather effects, and I think that is a much cooler effect. But we get a whole huge moment of silence only to just get a oh shit moment, because the first thing Jack does is he takes a spear and stabs it straight through one of the sisters, one of the daughters of Aku, and she's dead. So now there are only 5 left. We get a beautiful fight scene that comes to play because they all just keep trying to kill him. And Jack throws another spear, kills another one of the sisters. So now, if math serves me, 1 died in the cave, 1 died just now, so that's 3, so there's 4 left. So there's 4 sisters, 4 daughters of Aku left. And after throwing that spear, Jack runs off. Jack runs to try to get better footing. And again, this background is just beautiful because it's just blank. It's just a white background, and all you can see are them and their footsteps. And then we see Jack is standing on something, and then finally the snow clears, the color clears, and he's standing on a tree stump, like a long tree that's elongated from the ground. And they are literally starting to charge at him as Jack climbs up the tree stump. And again, this choreography in these fight scenes is amazing. Jack is literally doing these twirls to dodge. And then this is I can't describe some of the stuff that's happening on screen now. Like literally, Jack is dodging these attacks and he's jumping in the air and he's doing a twirl. His weapon's split into 2 pieces, but he's still able to get attacks in. He ends up kneeing one of the girls in the face, dodges all these swords, is beating the hell out of all these people, kicking people. It's so hard. He ends up slicing one of the girls in the stomach. And he threw his sword and he stabs this girl and she's stuck to a tree. One of the sisters ends up pulling out the sword that stabbed her own sister, which I thought, wow, that's kind of cold-blooded. Jack is ready because he took one of the girl's weapons, which is like a spike bat. All the girls do this really cool technique because they jump behind each other and they put all of their arms in different areas. And so it's like it looks like they're one person that has like 6 arms. So now there's 3 sisters left, and they're literally just tearing Jack to pieces right now because they're fighting as one now, and he's getting cut up. They end up jumping up into the air, and Jack knocks them all away. So now they're all separate entities now. And again, the scenery is just absolutely beautiful, and the choreography is just amazing. Jack doing all these twirls and stuff. He just starts swinging his bat around and around, not even hitting any of them, but he just exhausts himself. He just is just physically exhausted, and they're all just staring at him. Then they start to run. They do the Jedi kind of thing where they just run side by side. Jack ends up running up though because there's a tree on his half, but it doesn't stop them because they just jump. They jump good. Jack ends up making it to the end of this path. And there's nothing beneath him but just death. Like, if you look down there, there's spikes, and clearly it looks like if you fall down there, you probably will die. Jack throws his weapon down there and decides to literally fight the last 3 girls with his fists, hand-to-hand combat. One of the sisters tries to stab with her staff, her spear thing. Jack jumps and kicks her in the face. The other sister tries to attack him with her sai things. Misses every attack. Jack is literally jumping around her, grabs her and throws her off the edge. So she's dead now. So now there's 2 left. One of the sisters starts charging at him. Jack closes his eyes, goes in for 1 punch, punches her in the jaw and breaks her neck, and she just falls off. Now the final sister, the final daughter of Aku, has a bit of a better... She puts up a better challenge to Jack because she's got this chain and sphere weapon, and they literally end up just swinging around the tree with each other because they each got a half of the chain. And this is a really funny scene because he has her like hanging off of the tree stump, and the only way she's able to stay up there is because Jack has the other half of her weapon that's holding her up. And the entire time she's like, "You will die, samurai, you're nothing, you will be killed, you will die." And this entire time Jack is literally just staring like, alright, come on. And he just untangles the weapon and he drops it, and she falls to her death. But then the stump that Jack was on has broken. The stump that Jack is on is broken now, and he falls. So he falls to seemingly his own death as well. But I don't know. This was an awesome episode. I don't know what the hell is going to happen next week. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen. But yeah, comment down below what you guys think of this week's episode, and I will catch you guys next week with the next Samurai Jack. Bye.